And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. One of my favorite cooperative games is Flashpoint Fire Rescue, in which you're going in and rescuing people from a fire cooperatively as a team of firefighters. Great theme, lots of fun, and now we have an expansion called Tragic Events. I guess I didn't really need bad stuff to be happening in this game. Oh no, it's an exciting new expansion, more people, more events. Alright, well here's the thing, it's called Tragic Events, but there's also fortuitous events included in here. Not as bad as it might seem. Let's take a look. Alright, let's take a look at what comes in this expansion. So first we have the new fire deck. This is going to replace, instead of having hot spots on the board, you're going to have this fire deck. And the fire deck is made up of mostly the fire rages, and you'll have one accelerate card in there. And the number of cards that you're going to put in there is basically on how hard you're going to play and how many players are playing. So you're going to shuffle this deck, and every time when it's time to move the fire, you draw the card. And if it's a drew to accelerate. If it's a fire rages, you just do the fire like normal. If it's the accelerate card, though, you're going to move the fire twice, advance the fire twice like normal. Then you're going to take a flare-up card. Now you have a certain number of flare-up cards next to the board based on how easy you want the game to be. So a flare-up card will get added to this pile. Then we'll draw an event card and resolve it. Then we shuffle everything together. Each flare-up card is very similar to accelerate, with the difference being you only advance the fire once. Whoever's turn it is gets 2 saved action. You add another flare-up card, you resolve an event card, and then you draw another card from this deck, which could be really bad because a lot of things could happen at once. However, once all the flare-ups are in the deck, you don't need to worry about adding any more. At that point, you're going to be pretty unhappy anyway as you're taking these. Now, what does this event deck do? There's all kinds of cards in the event deck. Some of them are positive. Like this one here, you add to your here a double victim token. So basically, if you rescue this couple, this inseparable couple, you're going to get 2 people out. This one here lets you add a respite card to the deck, which says nothing happens. Here you have a lightly wounded victim. They act as a treated victim. Here, everyone can spend all their saved actions. Here you can look at the top card of the event deck. But not everything's good. Here, your character can die, only if you're playing a heroic level, or not die, but be wounded. You replace them with someone with a token, and then you have to go back, you have to pick another roll, go back and get them. Here you can take 2 damage removed from the game. Here you have a critically wounded victim in the game. There's all sorts of interesting things that will happen. How many people live there? You'll add more tokens to the board. This could be bad. Oxygen mask failure. You have to go back to the ambulance. Risky tactics, double or nothing. Here, all false alarms things go back in. Hidden danger, miscommunication. I need to say my games. One of your guys runs back in to get his games. Here you add more hazmats because there's a lot of cleaning supplies in here. So there's all sorts of different event cards in here that are not only thematic, but will add something good or bad to the game. There's also new characters. Well, the structural engineer is not a new character, but he's basically here to get rid of flare-up cards. So he can basically take a flare-up out of the deck, and he can still repair damaged walls. So that kind of modifies the structural engineer. There's 3 new characters. Fire prevention specialist. This guy here can move smoke around the board, and if he moves it off the board, it's gone. And he can also move the people, or the point of interest, hopefully they're people. He can move them for 2 points, which is pretty interesting. I guess he's like training them to get out on their own. I like this guy. He's an interesting one to use. Strategist. This guy gets a free plan action point, and basically he can give a saved action point marker to another player. So that's pretty handy. He's helping everyone else out, and he can also look at the top card of the event deck and put on the top or bottom. Very, very handy person. Suppression specialist. This guy can basically get a saved AP and flip both advanced fire dice. So he can flip the fire dice to the other side. And also, the fire will never really hurt this guy. It won't move into him or the spaces next to him. Pretty interesting, but I actually like these two guys better. But I mean, it's kind of whatever you want to play with. It comes with some more miniatures for these people. There's also a whole pile of tokens here that will be used for the different event cards. The game comes with a box that you're probably going to get rid of because you're going to put everything, I mean, it does have a nice plastic insert, but I'm assuming you'll put everything in the original game if you possibly can fit it. A bunch of tokens here. I do like that there's now this hazmat. You thought it was a people, but no, it's this. There's all different tokens here. The event cards, I really like them a lot. Like I said, they have a little bit of, they show what tokens you might need for them, and then they explain what's going on, and they add some theming to the game. And then, you know, this basically the same as the original game. So, you know, decent components. This expansion's kind of interesting. I like it. Is it an expansion I'm going to use all the time? I don't know. Obviously, we'll throw the new people in the mix, although two of them, they're not useful if the events aren't being used. But is it worth it to replace the hotspots with these event cards? I think so. Does it make the game harder? I don't know. I've won with and without using the new stuff, so, you know, Flashpoint Fire Rescue is a game that I can win, although I normally play on normal. Don't judge me. I'm not heroic. So I think everything, I think it's a good replacement. Would I use it all the time? I'm not sure. I mean, I will say that people like it better thematically. Like the hotspots didn't make sense. Like, why is there a hotspot in the bathroom or whatever? I mean, I guess you could explain it some way, but the events are just fun. I mean, it's frustrating when you get a negative, you know, oh, look, that guy ran back in to save his games. You're like, what a maroon. Get back out here. But I think that sort of thing adds some flavor to the game. Sure, it's a little bit more randomness, right? But the game already has a lot of randomness with how the fire spreads and all that jazz anyway. And so if I'm going to have the randomness, why not have a little bit of theming to it? It's fun. In fact, I wouldn't mind if there was a double-sized deck of event cards, like another deck of event cards, just to add more flavor, because you're going to see the same stuff happening. You're like, that guy went in for his game collection again, you know. That sort of thing will happen, you know, once you play multiple games. But yeah, I like it. So this is a solid little expansion. You can add this. There's a lot of expansions out for Flashpoint Fire Rescue. You don't need any of them. You can just add this one straight to the base game, and it adds flavor. It adds a few more people, giving you some more options, and it makes the game, you know, again, because of the way that fire deck's built, it can mean there's a game where the game accelerates really fast. At the same time, the original game could do that with those hotspots just jumping off each other. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other, in a sense, but I'm going to keep it, and I'll probably use it most of the time. Dice Tower Judgment approved!